A story is only as good as its villain, and when a story has villains which are stuck in our mind for eternity, then the show is pretty good. A good villain can make or break a show because the main character's objective is to grow throughout the story just to stop the villain. So basically, a story could actually be defined by its villains. Now this video isn't necessarily about the best villains in anime, but rather the ones we just can't forget about. Apologies to all the My Hero Academia fans in advance if you don't see any villains from the show on this video, as I know how your fan base can be. Now this list isn't ranked in any particular order, just to avoid the biased anime community and their comments. Without wasting more time, let's get things started.
君には見えないよ。ドクター・テンマン、あなたにとって命は平等だった。だから僕は生き返った。でも、もう気づいたでしょう。誰にも平等なのは死だけだ。
Now this is a villain I just had to start the video with. Johan Liebert is not only an unforgettable villain in both anime and manga, but he is unquestionably the best of them all. Johan is not only menacing, but he is very strategic. He is also a villain who gets what he wants, as he never fails throughout the entire show. Even though he is stopped right at the end, the heroes couldn't save everyone. After the events of World War II, a group of Germans set up a program by an orphanage home to create the perfect soldier, but things didn't go as planned. Johan orchestrated something chaotic to remove himself from the program. After being responsible for the deaths of all the children and caretakers a part of the orphanage, Johan becomes the perfect soldier and starts to hunt down those who started this whole program in the first place. But he does so by leaving a pile of bodies on his path, even the innocent. It's a fact that Johan is surely the best and one of the most unforgettable villains.
ジョナサンの孫ジョセフ、これで貴様は死んだ。1秒前。ゼロ。
Dio Brando is not only a villain stuck in our minds, but he is also the most annoying because throughout the JoJo series, he is a recurring villain in some of the seasons. Starting off as Jonathan Joestar's rival, Dio was and still is a very cunning and malicious character. Everything he did was to bring pain to Jonathan and secure his wealth. He even went as far as to kill his dog just to make Jojo feel alone. Not only that, but he is probably the only villain to forcefully steal the main character's love interest. Dio might not be the strongest villain in anime, but he is definitely remembered for killing some of our favorite characters in JoJo, even being responsible for the deaths of some of the main characters in the series. It's safe to say that Dio is an iconic villain, and we would love to see him return to our screens one more time.
なぜそんなに時計を気になさってるんですか？
ああ、これはですね、キラだから。
It's very rare for a villain to be the protagonist of a show. I mean, you have characters like Lelouch from Code Geass, but it really doesn't happen a lot. Like Yagami from Death Note is a character which I'm pretty sure every anime fan knows about. His intellectual battle with L is by far one of the best rivalries in anime. Light is a character who has a god complex and believes to be the chosen one, a person who has the right to take away people's lives. He believes that he is doing this for the right reasons, bringing peace and justice to the world, but things go out of hand, and he ends up killing even the innocent to get away with all his murders. Light is a character that you want to see go down, but for some they would say otherwise. Whichever side you're on, you have to admit that Light is definitely one of the greatest villains in anime.
全力で撃ってみろ。ラストチャンスかもしれんぞ。なめんな。
We've been talking about characters who are cunning and intelligent, but that's not what Toguro is. Toguro is a villain who just merely believes in his own strength. He doesn't have any iconic dialogues or plans, but he does have a lot of power to make up for it. Toguro is the villain that Yusuke has to defeat during the Dark Tournament arc. He is nearly impossible to defeat when only using 90% of his power, but when he goes beyond that, he is just a pure monster with raw power. He also gives us one of the saddest scenes in anime as he kills Master Genkai, which leads to Yusuke's growth in the arc. Yusuke has to go over his limits to stop Toguro. To make things worse, Toguro actually ends up stopping Yusuke's final attack. Toguro is definitely one of the strongest villains to ever be in anime.
Too much stock in your escape, though if you like, I can bring you closer to home. Hope you aren't afraid of heights.
Please, no!
No, Frieza! Don't do it! Goku!
We can't talk about unforgettable villains without mentioning the most racist of them all, Frieza. Frieza is a character from Dragon Ball Z and was introduced during the Namek saga, but his involvement in the story started from when Raditz arrived on Earth. He is also the villain responsible for making Goku an orphan. Frieza vs Goku is a fight which was always destined to happen. He is also responsible for killing Vegeta, Krillin, and the entire Saiyan race. Even though Dragon Ball Super has given us a new perspective on why Frieza killed the Saiyans, it doesn't change the fact that he is 100% the best Dragon Ball villain ever, and everybody knows about him, making him a very memorable character.
俺はこいつに勝つ。もっと早く、もっと強く。
Now let's talk about Griffith. Griffith is a very popular character in manga, and that is the reason why he is on this list, because well, the anime quality is really poor. But he is a character that you have to mention on any villain list because he is just so good at being bad. He has given us one of the most horrible scenes in anime and manga with what he did to Casca, not only scarring us but also scarring the main character Guts as well. Griffith is a character who actually starts on the side of the so-called good guys, but later on rediscovers his true goal and ambition, and well, the rest is history. His wit alone is top tier. Now add that to the tremendous power he has gained, and well, he is impossible to stop. Can Guts stop Griffith? Well, only time will tell.
疲れた。ほんの少し眠るから。このまま手を握っていてくれるか。小麦いるか。
Now there are villains you hate and villains you love, and the most loved of them all is Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. Meruem is one of the best written villains in anime, and the reason for this is that we actually get to experience his character arc. Most of the time, villains are given backstories and we only get to see them through the main character's eyes, but Togashi used a different approach and actually made us see Meruem's character growth from the start to the finish. From being sadistic to actually learning how to learn and care for others is truly a rare sight to see when it comes to anime villains. Most of the time when this happens, it's usually because the villain has switched sides, but with Meruem it wasn't the case. We all miss Meruem, and since this is Hunter x Hunter, we surely won't be seeing him come back again. Most villains are created so that the hero can grow and overcome an obstacle. But what if the villain is the one who creates the hero just because he was bored and wanted someone to match his power? And this is exactly what happens in Bleach. Aizen, who is definitely the strongest villain so far in Bleach, well, I haven't watched the 1000 Year Blood War, so I don't know yet. But Aizen is definitely an iconic villain, from his betrayal, his scheming, and also his display of skill and power. Aizen is sometimes compared to Madara from Naruto in terms of how they do things. The unfortunate part here is that we never see Aizen's full power, as he never uses his Bankai. But even so, everyone struggles to fight Aizen despite him not using his full strength. If you've never heard of King Bradley, then I don't think you've watched enough anime. King Bradley is without a doubt a top tier villain. After being infused with the Philosopher's Stone which contained Wrath's soul, King Bradley became a monster. What makes him so good is that he has it all. He has skill, power, intelligence, quick reflexes, and possesses the ability to read his opponent's movements. He is unstoppable. I don't think there is a character in Full Metal Alchemist that can go one-on-one with King Bradley in a fight without any interruptions or him starting the fight injured. He is just a beast. King Bradley has definitely set the bar for what an iconic villain should be.
痛みを知らぬ者に本当の平和はわからん。俺は弥彦の痛みを忘れない。ここより世界に痛みを。神羅転生。
Finishing off this great list of villains is Pain, also known as Nagato. Not much to say here that you already don't know, but Pain is definitely the best villain in Naruto, and this is a fact, not an opinion. Many anime fans believe the Pain saga should have been the final part to close off the series, and that should just tell you how iconic Pain is. Pain is also a character who was able to challenge Naruto's ninja way and make him question his ideology by giving us the famous speech about how the world works. And let's not forget that he was fighting Naruto's Nine Tails chakra form with taijutsu. I mean, who else would ever do that? And let's not forget that he took away some of our lovable characters such as Jiraiya and Kakashi, but we know what happens at the end, so Kakashi's death is short-lived. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now if there is a villain you think is worth mentioning and I missed, please do put it in the comment section so I may see which villains are stuck in your mind. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.